Are you learning how to crochet, but you've only ever done flat pieces? You see others making things like stuffed animals and hats, and you would like to learn how to make those kinds of things too. And you know that those kinds of projects require you to crochet in a circle. Well, you're in luck because in this video, I'm going to show you not just one way, but two ways to crochet in a circle. There are two main ways to crochet in a circle. Those two ways are the spiral method and the in rounds method. The spiral method is good for making stuffed animals or when you're only using one color. The in rounds method is good for flat projects or when you need your rows to line up, such as when you are doing a striped pattern. But both are equally important when learning how to crochet. So let's get started. First, let's go over my materials here. Now, I'm assuming in this video that you are new to crochet, so just for reference, I want to show you what materials I'm using here, but do please use whatever yarn and hook size that works best for you. I'm using size 4 medium weight yarn, and the hook that I'm using is a inline style size I. I'm also going to be assuming that you have some basic knowledge of crochet, such as how to hold the yarn in your offhand, how to make a slip knot, and how to do some basic stitches such as single and double crochet. The way that I start with my circles may be unique, it may not be, but it is what works for me. But do note that I use this method you're about to see, regardless of whether I'm doing the spiral method or the in rounds method. We're going to start by making a slip knot. The piece on the right is the tail side yarn. And then the piece on the left here is the working side. I want to bring the tail side yarn in front of the working side and make a loop like that. I'm then going to reach into the loop and grab the tail side yarn. I'm also going to come around and hold the working side with my right hand, and then I just pull that through. I'll move my finger out of the way, stick my hook in there, and then when I pull on the tail side yarn, it tightens that right up. Let's do the spiral method first. We're going to start by chaining 2. If you're doing the spiral method, most likely you're going to be doing something like a stuffed animal. So you're going to be using single crochet most of the time. So that means in this demonstration, I'm going to be doing single crochet. For single crochet, our first round is going to be 6 stitches, but if you were to be doing double crochet, the larger the stitch, the more stitches you'll have to do in your initial starting circle. But for singles, we just start out with 6. What I do is I do 3 single crochet on one side of the yarn tail, and then I do 3 single crochet on the other side of the yarn tail for 6 total. So here we go. One, 2, 3. And you can, even if this starts to widen out, you can always tighten it back up. So for the last 3 of this starting round, I'm going to move the yarn tail to the right side. You don't have to cover it up, so to speak, but you just want it out of the way and on the right side. So going in again, this would be 4, 5, and 6. And again, you can pull on that middle to tighten that up. So we're going to go back and count our stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So before we continue, we're going to grab a small piece of contrasting color yarn. Here I have a small piece of red yarn. And we're going to use this as a stitch marker. I'm going to place this yarn right there. I'm going to fold it to the back, and then we are going to crochet over it. And this is going to allow us to keep track of each round, because it's going to be hard to see that with the spiral. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the stitch we're going to be going into. Because we're crocheting flat, we need to double the amount of stitches that we did in the first round. First round was 6. So for the second round, we need to do 12. So how do you do that? You just do 2 stitches into each stitch, like this. One, 2, next stitch over, 3, 4, next stitch over, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now you can see we've got back to our starting point with the contrasting colored yarn here. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this yarn marker to the back, and then we're going to crochet over that. If you want to double check your stitch count, you can do that at this point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. For our third round, we only want to do increases in every other stitch. So our base round was 6, our second round was 12, our third round is going to be the previous round plus your starting round. So 12 plus 6 gives you 18. That means this row we're about to do, our third row, should be 18 stitches. And we're going to do that just like this. We're going to do 1 in the first stitch, then do 2 stitches in the second stitch, and repeat that pattern all the way around, just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And as you can see, we are right back to where our stitch marker is. So far, it's looking pretty good, looking pretty circle-ish. I do want to point out that the looser your stitching, the flatter your piece will be, because if you do it too tightly, the edges will curl in. So that was our third round. That was 18 stitches. Our base round is 6 stitches. So 18 plus 6 gives us 24. So our next round, our fourth round, is going to be 24 stitches. Before we get going, let's grab our stitch marker, or round marker, and bring that to the front here. And we are going to crochet over the top of that. We need 24 stitches for this round. But instead of doing 1 stitch and then 2 stitches, we're going to do 1 stitch, 1 stitch, then 2 stitches. So here we go. one stitch in the first one, one stitch in the second one, that's 2. Now 2 stitches in this next one. And that one's going to be 3, and then 4. Let's keep it going. 5 by itself, 6 by itself, 7 and 8 in the same one, 7, 8, 9 by itself, 10 by itself, 11 and 12 in the same, 11, 12, 13 by itself, 14 by itself, 15 and 16 in the same one. There's 15, there's 16, 17 by itself, 18 by itself, 19 and 20 in the same stitch. There's 19, there's 20, 21 by itself, 22 by itself, and then 23 and 24 together. There's 23, there's 24, and we're right back at where our stitch marker is. So we would repeat this process as many times as we need to, and as long as we increase by the amount of the initial row, we will get a flat piece. At some point when you start doing stuffed animals, once you widen it out enough, you'll start just doing a round of just 1 stitch in each one, and that'll start to elongate the piece, like if it's for a leg or an arm or something. So that was the spiral method. Now let me show you how to do the in-round method. The difference with this method is that when we get to the end of a round, instead of moving the marker and continuing on, we're going to join the rounds and start a new round from there. So the beginning's still the same. We're going to do our slip knot, tail side yarn in a loop in front of the working side, reach in, grab the yarn tail, hold on to the working side yarn, pull that through, and then stick your hook in there and pull on the yarn tail, and there we go. Same as before, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. For this method, I want to demonstrate double crochet. The last one we did single crochet, this one I'm going to do double crochet, but because the double crochet is larger, we need to do more stitches for our first round. For single crochet, we did 6. We're going to double that for double crochet. We're going to put 12 stitches in our first round. And just like before, where we put 1/2 on one side of the tail and the other half on the other side, with single crochet we did 6, so we did 3 on one side, 3 on the other side. With double crochet, since we're doing 12, we're going to do 6 on one side of the tail and 6 on the other side of the tail. And again, the more loose your tension is, the better the outcome is going to be, meaning the flatter it's going to be. So here we go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Again, it doesn't matter if this part loosens up because we can always pull on it and tighten it. So now move the tail to the right side in the back. And here we go. We're going to do 6 more double crochets. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to pull on the yarn tail again to tighten up that center. So let's count our stitches real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's what we want. So here's the big difference. Instead of moving on, we're going to join these together. Here's how we join the round. There are more advanced ways of doing this that kind of hide the seam a little bit better. But if you're just learning out, this is the best way to do it. And if you have even tension, honestly, you're not going to notice where the seam is anyway. So we're going to join this with a slip stitch. We're going to go in to our very first stitch. And if you're having trouble finding out where that is, just count backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. So we're going to go in. And a slip stitch is just yarn over and pull it through. Like that. If we were doing a single crochet, then we would just chain 1. However, because we're doing double crochet, we're going to chain 2. So we just did our slip stitch. So we're going to chain 2 right here. Now this doesn't count as anything. It just gets us ready to do the next row. So just like with spiral, we want to double our base row. Our base row here was 12. So we're going to want to double that up to 24. And that means in every stitch, we're going to be doing 2 stitches. We're going to use our stitch marker just to be on the safe side. But after a while, you might not need to use this. It's a little bit more obvious where the round starts and stops once you've done enough of these. But we can use our stitch marker just to be on the safe side. So we'll just put it right there and put the yarn to the back, and we're going to stitch over that. So here we go. 2 in each stitch. 1, 2, next one, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. When we get to the end here, it might not be too obvious that there's a stitch there, but that's the space we're going to go in. So for 23, and 24. We're right back where our stitch marker is, but we can also see that we've come all the way around. So this is where we're going to be ending. We're going to double check by counting backwards from our hook. We should have 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 is right here. So we're going to go in there and slip stitch that. Bam! And double crochet. So we're going to chain 2. I'm going to grab our stitch marker from the back and pull that to the front. Now our base row for this was 12, and our last row was 24. So 24 plus 12 gives us 36. So for this next round, we're going to have 36, but it's going to be the same pattern where we're going to do 1 stitch in the first one, and then we're going to do 2 stitches in the second one for a pattern of 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 1 stitch, 2 stitch, all the way around. So here we go. 1, 2 in the next one. This is 2, 3, 4 by itself, 5 and 6 together, 5, 6, okay, 7 by itself, 8 and 9 together, 10 by itself, 11 and 12 together, 13 by itself, 14, 15 together, 14, 15, 16 by itself, 17 and 18 together, 17, 18, 19 by itself, 20, 21 together, just 20, 21, 22 by itself, 23 and 24 together, 23 is 24, 25 by itself, 26 and 27 together, is 26, 27, 28 by itself, 29 and 30 together, 29, 30, 31 by itself, 32 and 33 together, 32, 33, 34 by itself, then 35, remember here's that tricky stitch, 35 and 36 together in this last one. And we're right back at the end of the round, and we're also where our stitch marker is. So again, we can double check and count all the way around, and to join that, go into that first stitch that we did of the round, go in there, do a slip stitch, pull it up, and then we're done. If you're doing something that is flat, you would cut the yarn when you're done and then weave that tail in. But oftentimes when you are doing spiral work, like with a stuffed animal, you would leave yourself a good length of yarn as the tail, because what you're going to do is then put a needle on there and you're going to use that to attach the pieces together. So if this was our very last round, what we would do is trim this off and then pull the hook out and then weave it in, and then we would be done with our circular flat piece. If you found this video helpful, please do consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It helps others who are learning how to crochet be able to find the video easier. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.